Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the month of June for the sign of Gemini. Hello, Geminis. Hi, guys. Oh, boy. So sorry for the lateness of these readings. I do apologize. Got sick in May. A lot of stuff happened in May. And then June has just been a month of trying to catch up with work and catch up with doing videos and, just living my regular life. So hopefully you guys can forgive me. If you've been to my channel before, you know I normally do 6-card spread, 1-card outcome, and the overall energy, but to save time, I shuffled and meditated off camera, and I condensed the reading down to 4 cards in your main, and I kept the overall and the outcome the same. As you can see, 2 cards came face down, so we're going to flip those now, and then get into your reading, okay? Oh boy. I say that very prematurely. I haven't even connected with the energy, but here we go. Where's Gemini for June 2018? Where's Gemini, please? Here? Okay, thank you. All right, Gemini. So you come in, I shouldn't even say to the month of June, you come into this reading as the Chariot. Card of Cancer, so there might be a Cancer of significance around you, but regardless, choices, decisions, destinations. You are the master of your own making. You are deciding what's next. Where are we going with this? How am I going to get there? Who's coming with me? Who's not coming with me? How can I get these opposing feelings or ideas to work? So, some of you Geminis, well, yeah. Some of you, this is business. So some of you, you've got business ideas, you have certain opportunities before you, and you're trying to pick between a few and figure out which one is the best one for you going forward. Others of you have your own ideas for a business. You have your own ideas for how to move forward with a particular business that's already established, or how to actually found or begin a business, okay? But regardless, it's like, I think for those of you where this is a business decision and has to deal with, your livelihood, feels like some of you are battling yourselves here. Like part of you, Gemini, is really like rooted in the earth, meaning you're like, what we should do, we, meaning Gemini, what we should do is stick with our day job, work really hard, move up the ladder, be satisfied, be satiated and content with that way of living. The other Gemini, the other part of the we, says we should take what we've saved, take what's been offered to us, so in the sense of maybe a loan from a bank or a loan from someone privately that you know, and we should go forward with our business idea. We should bite the bullet, take the risk, move on with that idea. So for those where that's resonating, part of you wants to play it safe, part of you wants to do what's predictable yet stable. The other part of you is like, no, we need to be fulfilled. This job, we hate it. Doesn't make us happy. We're not impacting the world the way that we want to. We want to make a stamp on the world. We want to leave a footprint behind, or we want to be remembered for something. And how could we do that if we had our own business, if we started our own online shop or our own app? If we maybe some of you do that, like in your spare time as a hobby. Maybe some of you are into web design or I don't know if you call it application design, but however you make, certain applications or certain softwares, that's what some of you have an interest in that, or a passion in that, or just a hobby in that you are seeing like, oh, instead of just doing this for funsies, I could do this for realsies and make money or make a living off of this. But so you're at war, you're at odds with yourself, Gemini, where you're just like, you're kind of like, And the way I just made that sound, some of you are like having a panic about it. Some of you might have panic attacks about it. But you're kind of like in this whole fight or flight sort of response where it's like I can not stand my ground, but I can stay where I am and focus and work really hard, and maybe I'll have a good retirement package within 20 to 30 years. The other side of you is just like, no, don't be conventional. Don't be boring to some of you, which would be a big deal to Gemini. You don't want to be bored. Yeah, but that's where some of you are really resonating in this business aspect. In other aspects, this could be dealing with love. Could be dealing with a relationship of significance, a marriage or a long-term relationship, regardless. That's kind of where you're at too. You're kind of like, I'm kind of bored here. I'm kind of seeing things structured and being predictable, and I don't like that. I need something new. I need something exciting. And I think in that case, it's beyond excitement. So I'll amend that. It's beyond excitement in the relationship aspect. I think in the relationship aspect, I think you're feeling like either I'm going to merge with this person or I'm not. Now, for those of you where you're married, you're like, but we merged 15 years ago. We've been married 15 years. You can still be not merged and be married. So what do I mean by this? Some of you want to... You're concerned about going deeper in a relationship, becoming closer with a person. Some of you have been asked to go deeper, to become closer, to become more strongly or tightly bound to someone. And you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Part of you is like, yeah, I love this person. I'm in love with them, of course. You know, so for those where you're not married, maybe this person has asked you to marry them, or they've been like, hey, what do you think about getting married in the next year or two? And you're like, yeah, I love you. Yes, of course. But there's like that other part of you that's just like, no, run away. Don't do that. We can't go any further. This is too much. You know, for those where you're already committed, maybe this is like, you know, maybe now there's like a, okay. For others of you, it's like starting a family. You're married, been married for several years, no kids. So next step is to have kids. And some of you are like, of course, I love you. Yes, let's make all those beautiful babies. And another part is like, but that's going to change our lifestyle. That's going to impact our weekends hardcore. 1 second. Okay, Gemini, I apologize. Another coughing fit. I think like by the third video, my voice just gets really messed up. Anyway, so for those of you where it's like, let's expand our family, let's go deeper in this relationship, let's move in together, let's buy a house together, whatever. Part of you is like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Another part of you is just like, let's get out of here. We need an escape route. We need to protect ourselves. We need to not go any further down this road. We're happy where we are. Don't do anything else, Gemini. Don't go any further. You know, so it's like this vexed feeling, no matter where this lands in your life, Gemini, where it's part of you says go, part of you says stay, another part of you might say run away. Yeah. And yeah, okay. I say this to you, and some of you don't believe me. Which is interesting, because, I mean, you're here watching a tarot reading, so you kind of have to believe some of it, right? But anyway, the Magician, you share this energy. You share these two energies right now. Decision-making, capable, power holder is how that's coming out. Power holder, thank you. So, this intent to change, or move forward, or plot a new direction, whatever it is emboldened by the Magician card. Magician has everything he needs. He has all the tools of the trade. He's got all the elements at his disposal. He's got the wand, he's got the sword, he's got the pentacle, he's got the cup. He has everything he needs. He just has to properly manifest. Now, what does that mean? A lot of times you'll hear with this card the phrase, as above, so below, indicated by his hand extended up to the sky and one hand extended to the earth. So, and he being the conduit in between, right? He is the vessel that connects the two with what can be created from some esoteric space or some kind of nuanced space and the reality of seeing it manifested on the earth. The magician is the conduit. The magician is the vessel through which that reality can be birthed. Man, what a convoluted way to say you're the master of your own destiny, so to speak. You're the creator of your own future, your own space, okay? You're the creator of your own reality. If you believe. A lot of you are having issues with belief right now. A lot of you are having issues with confidence. A lot of you are having issues with, excuse me, even your own intellect. Some of you feel you're not smart enough to do it. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, some of you feel like you don't have the expertise or the knowledge necessary to go forward with whatever you're wanting to go forward with or whatever you're being asked to go forward towards. Okay? The magician, when quote unquote done right or used correctly at its highest vibration, cannot be faltered, cannot be shook, can't be rattled. Okay, the magician, in a certain way, is kind of cocky. Okay, is a manifester through self-belief in some ways. Okay. Now, of course, that means you can do it for good or for bad, right? You know, I hate to bring up another pop culture reference, but it's kind of my strong suit. It's sort of like the circumstances of the Harry Potter series. You can be a good witch or wizard, or you can be a bad witch or a bad wizard, okay? You know, dark arts or not, you know? So you can be a part of Who Shall Not Be Named's army, or you can be a part of Dumbledore's army, whatever it is. It all depends on who you are as a person or how you believe yourself to be. How you believe yourself to be in terms of making the seemingly impossible possible. Okay? Magician's also sometimes associated with Gemini and Virgo, since it's ruled by Mercury or is associated with the planet Mercury. So you're definitely here. And these two cards they have yellow in the background. I don't know how familiar some of you are with chakras, but that's what I wear this bracelet for. Yellow would be associated with your solar plexus. And that is all about self-belief and sort of autonomy and being motivated or having access to, I should say, your passion, your self-understanding, like having a clear vision of who you are, what you are, how you operate in this world. That's what the focus is here, or that's where you kind of are radiating, Gemini, in June. Where are we going next? Okay. Right, okay. So, because this is an issue, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Can I do it? You know, that trepidation, because of that, these two, okay? So, Death card reversed. there's a change that is necessary. A change that you know you need to do, or a change that's been asked of you, and you are unsure of whether or not you should. Unsure. It's a big thing. The death card upright talks about change, transformation, the death of a certain aspect of yourself, or even the rebirth of a certain aspect of yourself. When it's like this, no go. No go on any of that. There's a stall or a stop or a block. A blocking. Some of you are blocking it. Regardless of the context, the feeling is, you know, or you have a feeling. You might not know, excuse me, explicitly, specifically what needs to change. Like, it's not like a flip of a switch. Like, it's either on or it's off. It's either, you know, set to 5 or set to 10. It's not like that. It's not like something that is so programmable or so easily attained or easily changed. It's not easy. So, that's the point. It's not easy. And I think because it lacks specifics or it lacks certain clarity, that increases why it's blocked. That increases why it's on hold. That increases why it hasn't fully formed yet. Okay? And that's the thing. I think you need the clarity, or you desire, not whether you need it, I'm not sure, but you heavily desire the clarity. Because as soon as you get it, or if you had it right now, you'd be able to move. You got Knight of Swords right next door to the Death in reverse. Knight of Swords in reverse, I should say. And the Knight of Swords in reverse isn't really going anywhere. He's not going. He's not traveling as fast as he could. He's not traveling with the purpose and the insight and the clarity that he normally goes with. Knight of Swords also can be a little irate, can be a little harsh, can be impulsive, right? And so that has turned down. And not to say like that is what you normally are, Gemini. No, not some of you might be, but Gemini is definitely a sign of action. You're definitely not a sign of inaction. You don't like that. But when it's in reverse, when the Knight of Swords is in reverse like that, you kind of, that's where you are. That's kind of where you're radiating. You're like, you're not able to move forward as quickly, like I said, or with as much clarity as you want. And so there's this sort of a watered down feeling, or like a restrained feeling here. And it's all to do with, in your baseline here, or in your foundation here, of knowing you desire to go forward, you desire to make decisions, you desire to make a plot forward, or go on a path that moves you forward, but you lack belief. You lack understanding of how to do it, despite having all the tools there. Let's go back to the Magician just for a second. You have all the tools. Wands, swords, cups, pentacles. So, what does that translate into? Wands, you've got the desire. Swords, you've got the smarts, even though some of you don't believe you are smart enough. You've got the cups, so you have not only the passion, but you have the emotional stability and the emotional intelligence and the emotional capacity to handle any changes that come your way, any setbacks or pitfalls that come your way. And you have the pentacles, so some of you actually have the money. You have the actual resources, tangible things that are necessary to make these changes happen. It doesn't actually have to be even physical objects or tangible objects. It can be time. You have the time to dedicate to making these changes, to getting onto that new path if you so desired. And you do desire. And you have the tools, but you don't believe. So the change isn't happening. The change is paused. The change is stuck. The change is delayed. And that slows you down, and you don't want to be slowed down. So, the hitch here seems to be time. Or not, excuse me, not time. Clarity, sorry. I said time because I looked at my camera. And I looked at the time and I was like, oh, I'm making good time. I'm sorry. The hitch here is clarity. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Having the line of sight you feel you need in order to move forward. Which is interesting because to a certain extent, Gemini, you're a gambling sign. All the mutables are. I hate to say that so flippantly, but it's kind of true. All of the mutables are very like, to their own extents, happy-go-lucky, risk-takers, gamblers, okay? So you're never one to really need full clarity in order to make your decision. You just want some. Like, the Knight of Swords is like... I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but like a Knight of Swords is sort of like a bike messenger where it's like, hey, take this package across the city, and the bike messenger will take any route they choose. Like they'll be in the street, they'll be on the sidewalk, they're gonna drive through the middle of like a construction site. They will travel any way. It's not like a UPS driver where there's certain routes, there's certain times and certain you know what I mean? Like the route is much clearer in my estimation for someone who drives for UPS or any other delivery service. They give you a GPS for God's sakes. They, give you like, they give you pension and things like that. For a bike messenger, it's like really like kind of rowdy, rebel kind of, I'm going to get the package there, but I'm going to take 5th Street over to 9th Avenue and then I'm going to go there, blah, 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 and then I'm going to stop for a coffee here. It's like a little bit more by the seat of the pants. And that's sort of your normal energy, Gemini, or at least that's what's associated with your sign, is that you're kind of by the seat of the pants, the mutable signs. To, like I said, to their own extents, because we could argue about Virgo being by the seat of the pants. Well, that doesn't, nobody needs a at that point. But anyway, you like a bike messenger, you can deliver. You can get to your destination. You're just more likely to be unconventional about how you get there. Okay? You might decide to, because you have to go, such and such miles, you're not going to bike that way. You're going to take your bike, you're going to get on the subway, and then you're going to get off the subway, blah, blah, blah. Whereas maybe on other days or for other routes, you would bike the entire way. You don't want to be held to certain constraints and certain predictabilities. You're kind of off cuff. But, like I said, because change isn't happening, because you don't believe you can make these changes, that go, go, go energy is like a pause, 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 rest, 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 or stop, stop, stop. You're not moving the way you want to. Interesting. What's your outcome? Excuse me, for this reading. You have the Hierophant and the Ace of Cups. So, Gemini, some of you, this deals with a marriage or some type of contract between two people or two entities, and it being, to me, a peaceful one, a very amicable one. A certain merger or a certain coming together, if that's on the docket for you, if that's on the schedule for you, if that's something that's in the vicinity or in the ethers for you, that seems favorable, okay? So congratulations if you're getting married. And happy birthday, by the way. This is the month of June. Most of you likely have your birthdays in June, so happy birthday. But for others of you where this isn't necessarily to do with marriage, and of course, Hierophant, and next to the Ace of Cups, big congratulations if you got married in the month of June. Big positive excuse me, outcome for you guys. But for those where it's not marriage or any type of romantic relationship, like, I'm getting like this feeling of like, this would be what you're hoping for. You're hoping for a successful merger. You're hoping for a peaceful, amicable, beneficial merging of two things. Two energies, two people, two companies, two ideas, whatever it is. Like we were talking about there in the chariot in the beginning. But I also feel like some of you Geminis feel like, especially here in the Hierophant, that merging is not at your discretion. It's at the discretion of the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, associated with the sign of Taurus, so some of you might be dealing with a Taurus. The Hierophant holds the power, or at least the influence, if not the explicit power, holds the influence that sort of gives this merger or this melding of energy or this marriage the go-ahead, the green light. So for some of you, maybe you did get married or you want to get married, but you're waiting for someone to give you the okay. Maybe some of you need the blessing of an in-law, or some of you are waiting for, because Hierophant can deal with government, so some of you are waiting for your marriage licenses to come through, things like this, for your city or your state or your town or your country or whoever to approve. If it's a religious institution, which also is associated with the Hierophant, maybe you're waiting for certain things to come through from your church or your pastor or whoever. Maybe you're waiting for someone to agree to oversee your ceremony, whatever. But this card is giving me the feeling of someone else has to say yes to all of this, which might contribute to why you feel you can do it, or, feeling why you're not sure that you can do it. Because you need someone else to say yes. You need someone else to agree. So you're just like, I feel I could do it, but are they going to agree? Ace of Cups would indicate favorable results, favorable outcome for you in whatever situation you're in. Excuse me. There's a chance for it to be successful. There's a chance for it to come out in your favor. It does rest a little bit, if not definitely of significant proportion on another person. In terms of business, this might be your business partner. This might be somebody who the Hierophant is like oversees a lot of things. Banks, religions, government, schools. So this might be someone who works for a bank. This might be someone that you're working with closely at a financial institution that has say over whether or not you're going to be approved for a loan, or like I said, not even control. It could be influence. You know, if they give you a positive review, if they like your business proposal, they'll go ahead and forward that to their higher ups, who will then approve your loan. In other cases, it's a priest or a pastor or some other person who oversees wedding ceremonies, and you need them to agree to perform your wedding. Okay? In terms of a relationship, that could be your relationship partner, and you need them to agree that whatever you want is what they want too. Okay? But regardless, it seems pretty favorable, Ace of Cups. And you've got the King of Cups overseeing it. So, excuse me. Overseeing your entire reading. So, King of Cups has a wealth of emotions, has a wealth or depth of emotions, but is very reserved, doesn't have an outpouring of emotions. So I feel that's what's going on here. There's a whole lot of give-a-care and just a body of emotions on the line here for you, Gemini, but you're not really shouting that from the rooftops. You're not really expressing that to the people around you. You're not letting other people know just how important this is to you, how much this is going to affect you inside, how much it's going to sort of set the tone for the next phase of your life. You can feel it. Many of you do realize it. Others of you don't really get that. But for those of you that do, this king, like I said, just has a depth and a wealth of emotions that can be categorized or identified, but again, not like readily accessible, not like something that comes pouring out of you every 2 seconds. Okay? And I just did Taurus's reading, and the King of Cups showed up, and I'm going to use this word again here. Stoic. The King of Cups is very stoic. You know, like the surface demeanor is very controlled. It's very measured. But behind closed doors or deep, deep down inside, there's just fountains and lakes or oceans worth of emotion and complexities and idiosyncrasies and intricacies and all of that kind of stuff involving the emotional state of the King of Cups. But on the surface, you wouldn't know. What's that phrase? Still waters run deep. This guy. And that's where you are. I mean, if you look at the card, did I even hold it up? I think I did. If you look at the guy, he's just sitting on his throne, very calm, but the water that's behind him and around him is very tumultuous. It's very, there's a lot of upheaval with it. But he's keeping his cool under pressure, cool as a cucumber. Okay? So I think that energy is influencing you or is guiding you in a lot of ways. Where, you know, it might be very stressful or very anxiety-ridden for other people. For you, Gemini, you're just like, I got this. It's, deep breaths, and then get on with your day, get on with the meetings, get on with the conversations, whatever it is. Surface-wise, you're playing it cool. Surface-wise, you're measured and you're calm, but beneath the surface, things might be a little tense, a little bubbly, a little heated, whatever. Still, he's beneficial to you because I think, Gemini, as an air sign, you definitely favor your mental space. And so having the King of Cups show up here, that means you're kind of opening up your heart or opening up your emotional space and taking cues from that. And having a measured balance between mental and emotional is usually ideal, right? So, good job. Yay! Okay, Gemini, that's your reading for June. Again, I apologize for it coming out so late. I hope you forgive me. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday, since technically now we're in the time of Cancer, but so happy belated birthday, and I apologize for missing out giving you guys this reading earlier in the month. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and do all those fun things that YouTube allows you to do, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. If you don't want to do any of that, that's cool too. And I will see you guys in a few days, and we will get on and do your July reading at that time, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.